not entirely a biological problem or a food production problem. There's an extreme poverty problem, and unless that poverty problem can be addressed, there's not a way either for people in those places to purchase products that we grow or to implement high input types of systems that would admittedly increase yield. So how can we address the dual problem of poverty and biological food production where the real problems occur in this world?
Just to comment that the FAO, in a report looking at organic agriculture, not necessarily certified, but or more or less organic approach, which means reduce purchase input, high biological inputs, and high management. What they were suggesting, particularly in those poverty-stricken areas, is that approach is a good way to increase local income. Not dramatically, but oftentimes also it's women farmers who are doing some of the farming in those areas, and with small increases in yield, and hopefully larger over time, they can sell the product in the community. There can be some local jobs generated from processing. So the FAO was talking about those kinds of systems as being one way to both address food shortages and economic development at the same time.
I guess also in my limited experiences overseas, I think one of the challenges is that systems don't always match, and that we often are trying to take things appropriate from one system and put it into another. You go to a lot of countries, and what you recognize is they've done the research and they know what they need to do. Their challenge lies in getting that information out to people. You know, oftentimes the university reports to education, and the extension service goes to the Department of Agriculture or their equivalent, and so you end up with these disjunctures. So I think part of it is how, what I really recognize is that part of our system, that outreach or extension piece, is really not functioning in a lot of places. It's trying to find education systems that are appropriate for those audiences, and just getting the information that they already have done the work on to people who need it would be a big step.
Just one additional comment, those farmer schools in Bangladesh were really successful in getting that information out in those systems that was reported on Jules Pritty's book. So it's that very community-based, using the best available information to get things out. And I think there can be a role for things like very small-scale methane digesters overseas, as well as potentially here, that can be scaled very, very small and work for even a couple of cows under the right circumstances. Not to generate electricity, but to generate fuel that could be used for heating or cooking or something else.
I agree. I think education and outreach are absolutely key. And I'd like to underline that we don't have to go to high-income